And so the countdown is on, and this very channel is your election headquarters. Make sure that within the period prior to voting on December 7, you stay with us. We bring you the best tidbits, the best highlights, the best reviews, but also the best informative news about the elections. Now, let's start our story for the morning. Sunyani Bay's legal practitioner has brought a suit against the Attorney General questioning the legality of the president's decision to remit the sentence of the 3 persons jailed for their contemptuous remarks against the judiciary. Alfred Tuayeboa is praying the Supreme Court for a declaration that upon a true and proper interpretation of Article 72 of the 1992 Constitution, the President's power of prerogative of mercy is limited to convictions for criminal offences and does not also include convictions for contempt arising from the inherent jurisdiction of the courts. The 3 pro-government radio show hosts and his 2 other panelists were in July this year jailed by the Supreme Court for scandalizing the court. Their sentences were, however, remitted by President John Dramani Mahama. Lawyer Tuayeboa, however, believes this was not lawful.
So what I'm seeking to do now is to invite the judiciary to review the legal questions that the president sought to answer.
But for you to have a case, certainly there must be a dispute. Exactly what's the dispute in this case?
The dispute is about whether the president, upon true interpretation of Article 70, has the power to either pardon or remit contemnors, people who have been cited and convicted for contempt. That is the issue. People think that so far as if you use the word offense in Article 72, then everything, part of it. Others think that no, the offense there is referable to criminal.
In effect, you are seeking to give the Supreme Court a second bite at this particular cherry, which may lead to some form of a constitutional crisis.
There wouldn't be a constitutional crisis. The Supreme Court is able, or mandated by the Constitution, to interpret the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
Parliament could this Thursday witness a showdown involving majority and minority MPs over an urgent motion which has compelled the Speaker to recall the members from recess. The recall follows a petition signed by hundreds of MPs calling for a committee to investigate whether President John Dramani Mahama violated the Constitution in accepting a Ford Expedition vehicle as gift from a Burkina Faso contractor. Jibril Kanazui, in an interview with Joy News, Manasseh Azure Awene said he gave the gift to the president, whom he considers a friend. President Mahama has already indicated, though he accepted the gift, he made it available for use by the state. Minority Leader Osei Mensa Bonsu, however, tells parliamentary correspondent Elton John Brobe the president has more to answer.
When was the vehicle given? I mean, issues arise. When was the vehicle given? When was the decision taken to give it a presidential pool? What evidence is there that is giving it a presidential pool? When did it happen? I mean, there are many lingering issues. And so it's not the face value of the issue that is put out there. And if it's not done anything untoward, that's exactly what we would want to find out. And if some certain things have been done, which also go against the grain of truthfulness, or that the president conducted himself in a way that he shouldn't have, right? Then, of course, whatever is done would be to enhance our democratic governance. That is ultimately the issue that should concern us as a nation. We want to deepen democratic governance. So it should not be considered as personal against the president. Some people say that, oh, but this matter has been discussed. Discussed at what level? The Constitution provides us with avenues of addressing such matters. And so we thought that we should resort to the constitutional provision. In any event, when the president had the opportunity to address the same issue on 2 occasions at least, he has suggested that he's not done anything untoward, and people think otherwise. The Constitution provides a way for us to address the matter and is ever ready to answer to the issues.
In other news, aggrieved customers of the defunct DK Microfinance Company at Bolga in the Upper East region have threatened to vote against President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC in the upcoming elections if they are not reimbursed monies owed them by the company before it went bust. At a news conference in Bolga, the customers issued a 2-week ultimatum for the liquidation of the properties of DKM so they could be paid. Apai's region correspondent Albert Sori brings a report.
The Upper East region was one of the several regions in Ghana affected by the microfinance scam over a year and a half ago. Hundreds of customers who invested their monies with the DKM microfinance company with the hope of making interest lost everything after a moratorium was placed on the company for failing to follow Bank of Ghana regulations. The company was subsequently closed down. Since then, affected customers have been striving to recover their monies, with several demonstrations and press conferences yielding no results. In this latest press conference held in Bolgatanga, customers of DKM say their living conditions have worsened. The victims reveal the impacts of the scam has affected their personal and family lives to the extent some of them contemplate suicide.
The liquidator requested that we submit proof of indebtedness to DKM within a stipulated time. After collecting our deposit slip, the liquidator has now sent a definite year to us. We don't hear from them, let alone receive our monies. We hope you are not throwing dust into the eyes of brothers and sisters in this predicament. Can you have any other campaign message for us apart from paying our DKM monies? Nothing matters to us at this very moment than our DKM principal deposits, because we are suffering at the grassroots. Our businesses have collapsed. We are unable to send our children to school. Our marriages are dissolving every now and then. People continue to commit suicide. Others die through frustration and depression. Mr. President, what do you say?
Other aggrieved customers threatened to vote out the governing National Democratic Congress if President Mahama fails to help them retrieve their monies before the December polls.
Due to DKM, some of us are not able to pay our school fees so that we go through education. Some of us are breadwinners of our families. We are not able to give money so that they will take care of our junior sisters or our family members. Mr. President, if our monies are not being released, come December 2016, the election, nobody will vote.
We voted for them, we kept them there to see to that we live decent and we live every bit of life happily. But yet we are suffering, we are languishing in poverty, yet nothing is done about it. What is happening at all? What is the president doing? What is those who are in charge? What are they doing?
We invested this money so that we can take care of our families. And here is the case. We don't have the money to even feed, let alone to take care of our children, to pay their school fees. Some of our children are dropped out from school. We are suffering. Do something. If not, no money, no vote. We are not going to vote.
Well, those are aggrieved customers of DKM. Feeding calls for security personnel on peacekeeping duty at Otafo in Kumasi has become a subject of conflict between traditional authorities and public officials there. The Traditional Council is demanding reimbursement of some 26,000 Ghana cedis, and all this was spent as feeding the troops since last February's disturbances in the town. The Regional Coordinating Council, however, says it cannot meet the demand because it never signed up to such a deal with the chiefs. Ohemin Teria has a lot more.
About 30 police and military personnel were deployed to maintain order at Otafo, where disagreement over erection of a cemetery fence led to some violence. One person died in the clashes and some property, including vehicles, were destroyed. The security personnel were mandated by the Regional Security Council to enforce curfew imposed on residents as well as general order. The Tafo Traditional Council says it has so far spent over 26,000 Ghana cedis to feed the troops, for which it is demanding a refund. Between February and March alone, the council spent 20,646 Ghana cedis of the total amount. The Traditional Council made the demand in a letter dated 3rd March 2016, addressed to the RCC, copied to the National Peace Council and Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Tafo Krontihene, Nana Ekuaku Frimpong, who speaks for Tafo Hene, has been making a case for the claim in an interview with Inshira FM's Ohementeria. Flanked by the Achiame Hene and the Chidom Hene, he said the council is unhappy about the RCC's handling of the issue. Nana Frimpong wants the presidency to intervene.
Since the troops were stationed here, the chief and elders have been taking care of them. From water they drink to the food they eat, the police chief and some KMA reps came to Nana and asked us to let them know how much we have spent for refund. Some 2 to 3 weeks later, we gave them the cost, but we are yet to receive anything.
Registrar of the Traditional Council, Daniel Kwame Apia, gives some detail about how the debt was incurred.
The Pilgrims Affairs Office of the Ghana Hajj Board has confirmed that some 39 Ghanaian female pilgrims have been repatriated from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia even before the pilgrimage starts. 9 of the repatriated pilgrims are said to be minors, whilst 30 are said to be inappropriately categorized as embarking on the pilgrimage without a guardian. Speaking to Joy News, a member of the Communication Directorate of the Hajj Board, Al-Hassan Suhaini, said its outfit is confident it could resolve the anomaly and also airlift all registered prospective pilgrims to the Holy Land of Mecca. Joy News' Latif Idris has a lot more.
In relation to the pilgrims who were repatriated, the requirement in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is that a female, Hajj ought to be accompanied by a male adult if she is less than 40 years. That is their requirement. And by our arrangement, we have always met it. And this happened with the 9th flight. And it happened because at the time information was sought on these pilgrims, it was not readily available. And that is why the authorities had to do what was practicable at the time. Because if they couldn't get the information, they had to repatriate them. The arrangement is such that we are not always able to get the guardians on the same flight with these, female pilgrims. It may be that the guardian is on another flight and might have already arrived ahead of time, and she is on this particular flight. But there's usually information to that effect. But
is that the practice?
That's what happens. I mean, this is not the first time they have repatriated pilgrims. It doesn't happen often, but it has happened before. As we speak, I know that the ambassador here in Ghana, the Saudi ambassador here in Ghana, is working, effectively with our chairman, Honorable Ibrahim Rauf Tanko, to rectify the situation.
Okay, you're talking about the fact that we are left with the last flight, but the numbers here are very huge. Are you sure you'll be able to take care of all these prospective pilgrims?
Don't be deceived by the numbers here. Sometimes one pilgrim comes here with about 6-7 relatives who are just here to escort him or her.
The Ghana Health Service says it is taking steps to decentralize specialist training for medical officers so as not to completely deprive health facilities where they work of their services. As part of the new arrangement, the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Ebenezer Appiah-Dintra, explains medical personnel will no longer leave their duty posts for studies elsewhere. He was addressing a joint oath swearing ceremony for the medical and dental schools of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Prince Appiah reports.
Details of the proposed decentralized system, which begins this year, are not readily available. Dr. Appiah-Dintra is confident it will improve healthcare delivery, especially in rural communities.
Now we are putting this in place. The Ghana College of Physicians and Surgeons and Ghana Health Service are working together to decentralize specialist training. And we started with physicians, family physicians, So you'll be in that district, starting in 26 this year, you'll be in that district, and then we move faculty there, and you also be coming around, and then you get your specialization. Now it's time for us to do that.
The Director General also urged KNUST to adapt hospitals in various districts in Ashanti region as training centers.
By adopting Mampong Hospital, yesterday I was there, it's such a large hospital. Mampong Hospital, Agogo Hospital, Sunyani Hospital, all of them, it can be medical school complex, and you spread your tentacles over there.
176 newly trained medical doctors, 98 males and 78 females graduated. In addition, 19 dental surgeons, 8 of them females, were inducted. The spark of the ceremony was the announcement of 2 females as overall best students for both groups. Fatima Karim swept 12 out of 15 awards at the School of Medical Sciences to emerge the ultimate. For the dental school, Louisa Anson Kwache won all, but one of 6 honors are for grabs. Vice Chancellor Professor Kwesi Obridanso advised the new doctors to look beyond their degrees.
Not only end up becoming doctors and medical officers as they will call themselves, but will all take up the challenge of improving yourselves even further. Because in the world that we currently live in, being a medical officer alone cannot carry you forward. You need to take your professional practice seriously, work to become members of the council and eventually fellows, and there's a need for higher degrees so that you can come and join us in the medical school.
For Joy News, Prince Apia reporting.
Well, the happy faces of newly inducted medical and dental practitioners. We wish them all the best in their practice and in life as well. But that will be where we come to a close for the news this morning. But we have to do a lot more news reviews in the newspapers as well as on the various online portals. That'll be next.